What if Pablo Escobar became President of Colombia? Thanks for tuning in to Thinkative. Thinking time is now. Today we're trying to speculate on some shocking possibilities if Pablo Escobar became the President of Colombia. Anybody living on this earth, at some point must have heard the name Pablo Escobar, the infamous Colombian drug lord whose ingenious drug smuggling tactics were matched only by his brutality. What you may not know is that, before Escobar's violent death in 1993, he had plans of becoming Colombia's president. In an effort to realize this dream, the drug lord started a parallel career in politics that saw him elected to a Colombian congressional seat in 1982. If you don't know much about the man, Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria was born on December 1, 1949 in Rio Negro, Colombia and grew up in nearby Medellin. His criminal career started early with the selling of contraband cigarettes, fake lottery tickets, and car theft. In the 1970s, he worked for various contraband smugglers, often kidnapping and holding people for ransom. His big break came when he graduated into distributing powder cocaine and establishing the first smuggling routes into the United States in 1975. He operated under the Medellin cartel and eventually became its leader. Escobar is estimated to have directly ordered the killing of thousands of people including police officers, judges, locals and prominent politicians. Being a pioneer in the mass trafficking of cocaine to the U.S., Escobar was often called the king of cocaine and became the wealthiest criminal in history. At the peak of his activity, he is estimated to have been worth over $30 billion, making him the seventh richest man in the world. He used some of his money to help poor communities, building entire neighborhoods from scratch. His generosity earned him notable fame and love, especially from the poor masses who saw him as one of theirs. He was even nicknamed the modern-day Robin Hood by many for his criminal and philanthropic nature. He leveraged this popularity to get into politics. In 1982, Escobar was elected to the Colombian Congress as an alternate member. At the time, Colombia had become the murder capital of the world, mainly thanks to the violent criminal activities of drug cartels. As a result, Congressman Escobar was stripped of his congressional seat and denounced by the Colombian government. This ultimately killed his political career and ended his drive to become the President of Colombia. However, think about this for a moment. Imagine Escobar did really become the President of Colombia. The world's most brutal gangster, the world's seventh richest man, the biggest drug lord of all times, President of a powerful sovereign country. Here are 5 shocking speculations of what could have happened if Pablo Escobar became the President of Colombia. If you are new here, please subscribe to our channel and give a thumbs up to this video. Number 1. 2 Pablo Escobars. While Pablo was busy with day-to-day politics running Colombia, this would have certainly affected his availability to run cartel operations. So, he would have most likely needed a trustworthy second-in-command to assume full control of his criminal drug empire while he focused more on politics. This doesn't sound so bad. However, when you think about it for a moment, it takes being like Pablo to run a criminal organization like he did, ruthless and cold-blooded, killing any and everybody at the slightest provocation or resistance, including bombing planes and shopping centers and killing hundreds of innocent people. Pablo would have certainly looked for someone with no qualms killing just like himself. This effectively means the world would have known 2 Pablo Escobars at the same time, one running the drug trade and taking out everybody in his way, the other running the country and systematically killing anyone in opposition. Number 2. The richest man in history. When Escobar's chief accountant was captured, it was discovered that Pablo's worldwide drug business brought in over $60 million a month, making Pablo bigger than some of the biggest global corporations of the time like General Motors or IBM. So, by all measures, Escobar was already a very rich man. Forbes had already named him the 7th richest man in the world with an estimated fortune of $30 billion and rapidly rising. The cartel was generating so much cash it is believed Escobar once burnt $2 million just to keep his daughter warm while they were on the run. He hid significant amounts of cash in safe houses throughout his hometown or buried underground. If he had become the President of Colombia, this would have solved a huge problem of the inability to launder all of the money from his drug enterprise. Escobar would have certainly found a way to compel Colombian financial institutions to accept his drug money, either by abusing presidential power, systematic bullying or constitutional hijack. This would have brought the true scale of his wealth to light. Even before his death, most believed him to be the richest man in the world. If he became president, he would certainly have made this official. Number 3. A gangster police force. Having the police in your pocket to do your dirty work comes with being the richest criminal in history. Even without presidential power, Escobar already had thousands of informants working for him within the Colombian police force, serving him privileged information on his drug competition or anybody standing in his way. Even some of the assassinations of judges and top government officials ordered by Escobar are believed to have been executed by corrupt police officers on his payroll. If Escobar could have this kind of influence on the police force without executive power, imagine what law and order would have become with him as president. The police force would most likely have become a good complement to his elite group of assassins known as sicarios. Police inspectors would probably have been protecting cocaine shipments and facilitating its exportation abroad rather than stopping it. Any incorruptible police officer unwilling to get mixed up in all this would most likely have been killed. In short, the police would have simply become an extension of Escobar's criminal organization. Number 4. Global drug monopoly. Before Escobar was killed in 1993, his cartel was responsible for 80% of world production of cocaine. His drug empire had begun expanding into neighboring Latin American countries. He already had several cocaine labs in Panama and was already setting new smuggling routes through Mexico into the U.S., crushing all local competition in his way. After he was killed and the narco boom slowed down in Colombia, other countries like Mexico quickly rose to the top spot of global drug production and distribution. So, if rather than getting killed, he became President of Colombia, he would certainly have found a way to abuse diplomatic privilege to expand his drug empire into neighboring countries, increasing his market share towards 100%. Making his cartel a global monopoly. With the significant increase in wealth and power this would have afforded him, he would certainly have been able to topple foreign governments not supportive of his criminal activities. Number 5. The most powerful man in history. Of the several qualities that will guarantee a person being really powerful, there's no disputing that being extremely rich, being able to instill fear and command respect from others are in there with the rest. Even without being president of any country, Escobar had it all, and at unbelievable scales. He was officially the 7th richest man in the world, with more than enough resources to take down governments if he wanted to. Millions of people in Colombia and around the world feared him and dreaded the day fate would cross their paths. At the peak of his brutality, millions are believed to have gone in exile from Colombia in fear of being directly targeted by Escobar's organization of becoming collateral damage in his killing spree. Ministers, judges and even the military feared and respected him. Even with all this, he still enjoyed love, loyalty and respect from poor communities who saw good in what he was doing. Becoming President of Colombia would have amplified all of this to international scale. The fear of his brutality would have graduated to the international community, putting foreign leaders at his beck and call. All these, added to the significant increase in wealth from the expansion of his drug empire, would have undoubtedly made Pablo Escobar the most powerful man in history. The Colombian presidency of Pablo Escobar would have made for quite some chaotic times for everybody in the world. Fortunately, on December 2, 1993, after several years on the run, Pablo Escobar was gunned down and killed on a rooftop while fleeing from Colombian armed forces and American DEA, making everything said here total speculation. Let us know in comments what other possibilities, good or bad, could have existed for the world with Pablo Escobar as President of Colombia. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos.